Around 2001, I left my well-paid job as an IT consultant to study theology. My plan was to start a new career as a pastor. Not as well paid, but it felt important enough to take the leap into the unknown. In the class were a lot of brave people, women and men of all ages and backgrounds. They had decided to do the same. One day, I overheard two young men talking about the people in the class. Wow, look at all these women, they said. Yeah, they are so pathetic. Throughout the years, I learned that this kind of comments could be made also about young people, tech experts, old people. Well, you can continue the list of labeling. Only your imagination will stop it. What I do know is that you probably would not put yourself or your friends on that list. It's actually a power game aiming at marginalized others to put ourselves in the center in that way and diminishing others. It means that we decide just by looking at people who we think is important or not based on stereotypes. So, how can we address this? How can we make ourselves visible, valued, and ultimately hired while still being ourselves? That's what we are going to discuss with today's guest, Rina Rovanielli. And in the end, we will also share some hands-on tips. So stay tuned. Yay! So welcome to this elevator talk show today. As you saw, I'm also Rydhard, the elevator herself. And I'm on a mission to elevate experts into leaders on the business stage. So this show is a platform for that. People who are or want to be elevators meet and share insights that will elevate us all. You know, the most interesting with elevators is that they have a strong mission that put a certain flavor to everything they do. Just like a tea bag in hot water. Now it's time to try some tea. And in the teacup, we find today's guests, Rina Rovanielli. So, Rina, she
Hi, Osa. I'm excited to be here because it's International Women's Day. And I thought, who is the coolest woman I know? And it is you, Osa. So I'm really excited to be your first guest and to be here today. And I don't see Osa anywhere with me. I think it's
I'm hiding because I want you to be in the center and the front and in the focus. So, you, Rina, you are the co-founder of speakerslam Incorporated, and that's a speaker development agency that committed to helping entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, coaches of any kind to be seen, build momentum, and monetize their speaking. And I know for a fact that you are a speaker coach that managed to put speakers on to victory in competitions or viral because you help them create the signature talks. And I also seen for a fact what a passionate speaker you are. And your own video, is it Human Connection? It's gone viral, hasn't it?
Yes, I had about 5 million views on it. And it was a story about um, dealing with the homeless, being on the streets. And it was such a powerful video that kind of connected to people. So it was exciting. That was an exciting thing to go viral.
Yeah, so no wonder, Rina, she's actually a top 25 woman of influence, sorry, woman of influence. So I have some small problems with my accent, but that's how it is, guys. And here's an interesting fact. You have founded something called a platform.
Yes.
I love that. Platforms is what I live for. So platform is a program that empowers marginalized individuals to claim their voice and shift the narrative. What's that?
So it was a program that I started, and our first iteration was at Shelter for Homeless Youth. And I wanted to be able to bring this program to marginalized people who were kind of caught up in the victim story and to help them reframe their narrative, to find the powerful things that have come out of it, whether they've become resilient or more resourceful, and to use that to kind of shift the whole trajectory of their lives. So we did the first iteration. We had these youth sharing their stories. We brought them out to speakerslam. They shared in front of our group, which was so exciting. And I'm about to do a new program right now with Ingrid Palmer, who's in our program. She works with Up with Women. So we're about to launch a program with them. So it's very exciting to be able to bring storytelling to people who really need it.
Yeah, and that's so important because I know as well as you know, storytelling is so important, and we need to tell our stories, we need to share the stories and redefine our stories. And maybe that will be part of today's discussion.
Yes.
I'm happy that you had time to come here today, Rina, because I know you're very busy.
Oh, so I wouldn't have missed it. I was saying, like, I love that this is your first show here today. And like, you are like a perfect representation of what I love in someone who like catches on fire and does the work and makes magic and is a professional. Like, I love watching everything you're doing. So I'm excited to be part of this.
But thank you so much. You're so kind, Rina. I do my best. You know, not that I want to brag, but yes, I do want you to know I do my best every time. So, and you have always been on the front doing your best, I think. So I was actually secretly scanning through your background, and I saw that you are kind of a serial entrepreneur. You have run several businesses before you started speakerslam.
Yes. I actually started
Yes.
out running a business called Plus Size Planet. I used to run events for ample women and their admirers. And when I was at my events, I saw these women come in really insecure and shy and kind of frumpy. And then a few months later, they were wearing stilettos and sexy clothes and feeling confident. And so then I realized that there were a lot of them were wearing the same club wear. So I started Maximum Woman, a clothing store, so we could sell clothing. So yeah, I've had a little bit of an entrepreneurial journey, and I always kind of start with, what do I want myself? You know, whether it's clothing or parties or speaking, I think of myself as the ideal audience.
Well, you know, I think that's an important part of being on a mission because your mission comes from within and is also formed by what you go through and your experiences throughout life. But there is a certain flavor that you put to it all the time because you are you. And I want to share a secret. I don't know, you have never spoken about it when I heard, and I don't think many people know, but you were actually in the Dragon's Den with your online shop, Maximum Woman.
Yes.
Was that after the first business or just like a continuation of that? Or
Yes, it was in 2008. I had two clothing stores and we had gotten into selling dresses like Mother of the Bride, prom, party dresses. It was a huge need. And we'd made almost $750,000 in sales from having nothing. We started with nothing. And so we went on the Dragon's Den to kind of promote ourselves. And at the end of that episode, they said, "We hate retail. It's a horrible business, but we love you." And they offered, three of them came in and offered $250,000. So that was an exciting experience. I didn't take that deal, which is maybe another episode we can do, but the whole experience was great marketing and brand building.
yeah, we won't dwell on that right now because that's not the theme of the day. You're quite right, but I think it's all it's somehow part of it because I have watched not the Dragon's Den episode because it was taken down from YouTube for some reason or the television channel, maybe because I was outside of Canada. But I have watched, you know, the this is, you know, the bride dress television shows.
Yes.
Say yes to the dress.
Yes.
And from England, there is a series about plus size brides. So I know a little bit about how much work they do around self-image, self-confidence, and how they view themselves. And we are not going to focus on plus size or body issues today because we are talking about marginalized people. But I think whenever you are being marginalized and doomed as an other person, something that is not part of the majority and the majority's idea of who you should be, you need to work on your self-confidence. You need to find ways to make an impact. So what did you learn about the situation when being marginalized? What is the biggest problem?
You know, I started this business in a time when there were no other options in our city. And I really felt that people were silenced in so many ways because they didn't have the same resources. And so whenever a marginalized group isn't addressed or treated equally or fairly, they become silenced. And so that being silenced plays in all areas of their life because they don't show up in the way they can or should. They don't start things, they don't attend things. They don't get to be the best version of themselves because they are kept small. And so I see such a parallel between clothing women or helping people find their voice. It's all just an opportunity to let people shine and take center stage in their own life.
Yeah, because what I learned from my own life is that when you are constantly being seen by others in a certain way, that affects on how you see yourself. It makes me see myself in a certain way, especially if it's an ongoing process from when you're a child, because as a child, you learn from others who you are, right?
Yes. Well, one thing that's interesting is that we take our own value. It's sort of reflected back from other people, and it's sort of a catch-22. But at the same time, we have the ability to impact how they see us by showing up in a bigger way. So it's what comes first. But that's why whether, I wanted to clothe women in beautiful dresses so they could feel confident. And I want to help people, whether they're marginalized or they're in our program, find their voice, because when you're in that position, you take center stage, people will treat you the way you see yourself.
Yes. So this is an important, how to think about this. It's like the hen and the egg, what comes first.
Yeah.
But being seen by others, like in my intro story, when someone look at you and say, so pathetic, that's not really positive, and it's not really uplifting. And sometimes, especially a day like this, I actually today I read a headline from the news saying, due to the depression, no, not really depression, but what's called when the economy is going down.
Yeah, recession.
The recession. Due to the recession, women are not hired as much. And I felt like, okay, so it's women who are not hired. It's always like that, right? It's we who don't make ourselves seen. It's we who do not make it happen. Sometimes we might need to switch that around. And I would love a headline saying, due to the recession, business are not letting women in.
Right. But you know what I would say in that situation, whenever there's a recession and less people are getting opportunities, there's a certain group that rises to the top. And we may say it's men because they're men. But the truth is, it's the people that are confident enough to step up into those roles, that are, that are empowered, that are leaders. And so it's not really a gender issue. It's how we perceive ourselves. So there are some women that are trailblazers, that are powerful, and they are just as much likely to get those top positions. And I want to remove the idea that it's gender-based and start just saying who's confident enough to take those positions.
Well, yeah, we just happen to talk about women because it's that day today. But I know from my clients, because I usually say, when they say, so who is your best client? And I say, well, it's women, and it's tech men from tech, or women from tech, because they have the same issue, really. They don't really like to put themselves out there. They don't really like to go big and bold and, lead the way and so on. But we both know that this is what you need. So that's where the hen and the egg come. For some reasons, we have been fostered into or formed into a situation where we don't like to talk about ourselves or make ourselves bigger. But we need to find a way to go around that. So what can we do about it?
One of the things I talk a lot about in my program is special sauce, and it's people just leaning into their, what makes them special and unique, and giving themselves permission to start something huge and to kind of champion it. And I was thinking about, so I run speakerslam. We've been running inspirational speaking competitions for 7 years. And I look back on our lineup. It was never my intention to just be diverse and say, I need equal men or equal women, or I need equal this or that. I let merit speak for itself. Who wanted it? Who would shine? Who would come out and be excellent? And we've had white men, and we've had Black women, and we've had an Asian man. We've had people with different disabilities, all shining. So I never let those defining features like gender be an issue. They just leaned into what made them special. So I think we all have the opportunity to do that.
Yes, so one tip from you is to actually embrace and love your own speciality.
Yes. And, you know,
Yeah.
really to think big and create something completely different. And even for me with Dan and I, we started speakerslam. We were in Toastmasters and it was just an idea we had. And we created something that's been magical. And now we've been able to leverage that to get ourselves on stages or in front of audiences because we created something special. And a lot of the people in our program are doing the exact thing.
Yeah. So we have already said two things now about how to be seen and valued and optimal hired. And that is the first thing is like, okay, it might not be you that is the problem, but it's you that is the solution.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Osa. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And second thing is embrace your own special sauce. And I think maybe that comes when you start loving yourself and seeing your own value, that you actually start seeing that, yeah, I have something special to bring. And then it's easier to take that step forward.
Yes. And I guess my third tip would be begin with the end in mind. That's a great
Mhm.
Stephen Covey quote. It's that some people just are like a cog in a machine and they just get pushed through the process instead of thinking long term. So I love to ask people to write a speech about if you were going to be winning an award, have someone introduce you. And they write this dream bio, you know, starting with the end in mind. I want to be a best-selling author. I want to run a program. I want to win awards. And then start backwards and then just make it happen.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice to just visualize where you want to go. Um, and if you can see, if you can really find out what your direction is and decide where you're going to go, well, if you take the lead, people will follow.
Absolutely. People
Hmm.
will follow. And, you know, it's getting clear on your message, like what you want to share with the world. And a lot of people don't give themselves permission to actually think, what do I have a value to share or what's important to me? So I love when people just take the time and meditate on it or think, brainstorm, vision board, whatever, to come up with like, what is your message? What do you care about?
Hmm. I want to press on this a little bit more, because in the title for the show today, I had this, a very long title actually, because I think that's actually something we struggle with many times because okay, I want to be seen, I want to be valued, I want to be hired. Who do I need to be? So in the headline it says, and still be myself.
Yes.
Still being myself, something like that. I don't have it written down because I think sometimes we trick ourselves and we look at others who are forerunners, who are getting what we want to have, and we think I need to do exactly like they do.
Yeah, we think there's this master blueprint for success that this is it and we have to fit into this blueprint. But the truth is that it's about excellence and however that shows up. And what I love watching is people get to determine what is excellence for them. And when you're shining and there's momentum around you, people can't help but take notice. So it's stop thinking, oh, I got to go to school and I need a master's and I need to go here and be a CEO. No, you just need to be excellent and brilliant at what you love and you will shine and those opportunities will come to you.
Yeah, because you can only be yourself with full energy, unless you're a actor, but most of us are not an actor. So it's
Yeah,
better to just be yourself, because if you try to be someone else, you're only a copycat.
absolutely. You know, Osa, I had this life-changing moment. I was sitting in an audience at a speaking event and I was feeling kind of chunky and insecure. I wasn't feeling my best. And it was an inspiring speaker. And he, at the end, he said, and I'm sure he pointed right at me. Maybe that's all in my mind, but he said, I want everyone to know that you look exactly like you need to look. You are the right gender, the right size, the right age, the right race to do the work that you need to do and deliver the message you need to deliver to this world. And I had shivers. And when I left, I was like, it's true. We think I got to be beautiful. I got to be perfect. I got to be skinny. I got to be rich. No, you are the exact perfect person to deliver the message to the audience that needs to hear it from you. And he changed my life with that.
That's profound. Say it again. Say it again.
You look exactly like you need to look. The right age, the right gender, the right size, the right race to deliver the message to the world that the world needs to hear from you.
Amen to that. Yay.
Yes. I got to give credit to Noel Walrond. He changed my life with that.
Yeah, and you know, if we talk about consultants or experts in any area, I think that they believe that they are just 1 in 100 who knows exactly what they know, because of course they are if you look at the CV only. But each and every one with the same CV as you has a special flavor or a special sauce that will make you stand out and fit in exactly where you need to be at that moment. And
Yes.
that's you know, I've been an IT consultant, you know that.
Yes. I do now.
Yes.
Yeah. I, I
I
love what
can
you
assure you that no other person was like me, because yes, I knew big computers, I knew COBOL, I knew things. But what I had besides of that was my special thing that I brought to the table. And other people bring other stuff to the table. And you need to know about Rina, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love, I give the analogy of when you go to a menu and you see salads and you see garden salad and then you see like strawberry salad with walnut and feta or avocado mango salad. And not everybody's going to pick the same salad, right? So we have this idea that you have to be one way. Just be your unique self. Someone's going to love you. But I say, don't be the garden salad. Don't be the plain generic lettuce in the bowl. Be something spectacular. Someone will choose you.
Yeah, something extra that makes people love you. But I also used to talk about pizzerias, you know, the pizza restaurants. We have thousands of them in Sweden.
Okay.
You might think that they're all the same. It's like a hole in the wall. They serve pizzas, 30 kinds of pizzas. But all of these pizzerias, the restaurants, have their own special group who loves them and follows them and say, this is the best pizzeria in town.
Right. So just be excellent, right? Yeah.
So be seen, be valued, be hired. But it's not
Yeah.
as easy, is it, right?
It's not always easy. And I
It's
think a
easy to
part of
say. It's not,
a part of it for people is the confidence to believe that they are allowed to just be that version of themselves. So, but once they step into it and they start doing a little bit and they start seeing they're acknowledged, they catch on fire. So it's just taking that first step.
So now we know who we are. We know that we have the solution. We know that we need to find our special source and love ourselves. And still we meet someone who says, you're pathetic. What do we do?
Oh, and I think there's always going to be people that think, we're not perfect or they don't want our service, they don't want to hire us. But the beautiful thing about life is that we're never stuck to that one person. We move on, we find somebody else. You be resilient, you keep going. And there's so many success stories of people that didn't hit it the first 1, 2, 10,000 times, and then they finally did. So it's just persistence and resilience.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rina. I think this was a really nice conversation, and I hope that you all learned something. I for sure did. Do you have something you want to say in the end?
Thank you for having me, by the way. And I love that so we're about to go into our Body Beautiful competition, and
Mhm.
you're competing, right?
Yes, I am.
Which I love. And this is our absolute last online competition. We kind of went to online competitions during the pandemic, and now we're going back to live. So it's the last opportunity for people that aren't in the GTA to jump in. And I'm in love with this theme because Body Beautiful to me is about any of the things that we use to identify. It could be our abilities or disabilities, it could be our weight or appearance, it could be our identity. And it's just stepping in and shaping it and sharing a message with the world. So it's a powerful opportunity. And we are running that competition right now. And it's March 17th is the deadline for people to register. So just speakerslam.org /apply.
Yes. And if you find this online, I will share the link below this video, so you can go and find your way into the competitions. I think it's a great challenge to actually find and share a certain story that people will need to hear, as you say.
Yeah.
Because I know whenever I share a personal story, I touch something in people, and those who need to hear it, I see immediately who needs to hear my story.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing and inspiring thing for me of it all, because I like to uplift people, and that's why I have this elevator.
Yes. And when you're building your brand, the best thing you can do is step into storytelling so that your audience connects to you. So it's a great opportunity for that.
Thank you for that, Rina. So we are soon wrapping up here, but we have one thing left, and that's the end words, the end story of today. Thank you so much, Rina.
Thank you so much, Osa.
Yes, and let's move on. So, when I am asked what I do for a living, I sometimes says that I make experts more visible than they'd like to be. And the response I get on that is often, wow, doesn't everyone want to be visible? And now I have to say no. As a pitch expert, as an executive trainer, I work with experts and they think it's enough to be good at what they do. They don't want to show off themselves at all. And then everyone goes, yeah, you're right. But it's not right, because the problem is that it's a noisy and crowded world out there. And it's not enough to be an expert to be seen, valued, and hired. You need to know how to make yourself memorable and attractive, unless you want to lose your big opportunities to someone else, less competent, but more well known. You know who I mean. I know that it can feel like bragging. That's why I recommend everyone to learn how to share your stories. Next time someone asks what you do, don't just tell them your expert title. Share a story about why that is important to you and to others. That will make you stand out, and people, they will remember you. And that's how you will become seen, valued, and hired for being you. Thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you in 2 weeks again. That time, at that occasion, we will talk about happiness at work and in life, and we will have a new exciting guest. So I hope I see you there. Thank you for today. Over and out.